So here we are, we're just walking up the street and the sun's starting to get lower and lower in the sky. If the sun is around 45 degrees to us or lower, the light's gonna start looking better and better and better. The best way for you to judge that, whether it's 45 degrees or lower, is to simply look at your own shadow. I'm gonna open up my camera app here, and if you look at my shadow, these are my feet, and I can assure you that my shadow is longer than I am tall. That's my telltale sign to get really good light. Now, speaking of shadows, I think this is gonna work really well because there's some people that are walking into that sunlight, and I think their shadow is gonna be really cool. Now, to make this kind of stand out a little bit more, here's what we're gonna do. With my camera app open, I'm gonna swipe to the left where it says photo. That's gonna bring up a whole bunch of options. And I'm gonna swipe down until I see these 3 concentric circles that are overlapping. That's my filter bar. And if I click on that, I'm gonna swipe all the way down until I get to my black and white noir. Also keep in mind that none of this is permanent, meaning that I can go back into my photo after the fact in the edit, change it back to color, change it to anything I want to afterwards. So this is not a permanent change. This is just a preview that makes it a little bit easier for me to see what the shadows look like and focus just on those shadows. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is what my shadow looks like. I'll take that photo first, and then I'm gonna see if I can work the scene a little bit. This guy's coming with a really cool cowboy hat. So let me see if I can capture his shadow here. Just like that. That's all I needed. How cool is that? Now I think my shadow might have been in the frame. So the cool thing about this block is, this block has a lot of overhanging roofs, and it's casting a shadow roughly about a quarter of the street. So the cool thing is I can hide my shadow in the shadow of the street, just like this. And now I just completely disappeared from the scene. Now I can just wait for people to walk into the scene and capture some cool images here without worrying about myself getting into the frame. One of the best tips I can give when it comes to shooting people in street photography is to stay still, kind of frame up your shot to the best of your ability, and wait for people to walk into your scene. It's a much less intrusive way of capturing an image with people in it, rather than being more confrontational by coming up to them. You can let them walk into your frame. Here's a couple of people here. And I could even point the other direction, and I think that even looks cooler that way. So I can really point both directions. If I face this way, that's one look. If I face this other way, I actually think that's a more dramatic shot because it's even more contrast and makes their shadow stand out even more. And a lot of this is patience. That's kind of like the secret of photography, especially when it comes to street. It's a lot of patience and a lot of luck. When those two things come together, you get a shot that's memorable. That's exactly what we're looking for. So this gentleman's perfect right here. I'm gonna switch over to my 0.5 here. I might back up a touch. Oh, sir, senor. Gracias, gracias. Can I take a photo? See? Okay, while I have this opportunity, why not? Senor, 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 may I ask un momento? See? Can we walk? Sí, gracias, gracias, gracias. Such a cool guy. I think he's gonna walk in the scene one more time for me. So let's frame the shot up here. I'm gonna go to my 1x, switch over to my 0.5, and see if I can capture him all the way in the scene. Muchas gracias, senor. And you can see just how well that shot worked out. Putting it noir, putting it in black and white, kind of increases that contrast, and just working with the shadows. I mean, it's something that we often overlook whenever we have this low angle light, and especially what makes this really powerful is having this direct sun. It's just gonna make it a lot easier to get a high contrast shot and focus singularly on their shadows. It just makes for some really, really cool images. All right, I think we worked this scene pretty well. Let's move on and see what else we can come up with. This video was a free preview of my Capture It All online course. In this course, you'll discover how to use your iPhone to literally capture everything that's happening around you. We'll talk about composition, storytelling, timing, photographing people, recording videos, time lapses, flying a drone, and so much more. If you'd like to use your iPhone to its fullest potential, please take a look at the full version of Capture It All. You'll find the link in the description right next to this video. So click on that link right now and I'll see you inside the full version of the course.